Okay, this first video is to show you what a mousetrap is, how it works, and then I'm going to show you a couple mousetrap cars and how they work. So you kind of have an idea what your end game is going to be. First of all, we have two different kinds of mousetraps. There are all kinds of brands of these. They have to be the kind that it flips and breaks the mouse's neck. That's the kind you want. This is a Victor, this is a Tomcat. Either one's fine. But you have a platform, which is the wooden piece. You have the spring, which gives it power. You'll see that this has power until I take this little thing off, and then it doesn't have power anymore. So you always need to be careful when cutting the bale that you don't take its power away. Some brands have one of those on both sides. And if yours happens to be that kind, you can't cut the bale at all because you'll lose power. This one, if you cut the bale right here on the side of this power spring, this part would come off and it would still have power. But if it has two of these little things like this, the power spring, one on either side, you cannot cut it. This is a Tomcat. It has a little bit different catch. So to set a mouse trap, you have this arm, you pull the bale, this thing that snaps the mouse is called a bale. You hold it down with the arm, and you don't stick this wire through any holes. You just very easily make it so that it stays in there. Notice, I don't want to get snapped, notice that it's not through any hole. It's literally just in that edge. Anyway, so when a mouse comes up and eats the cheese or peanut butter or whatever you smashed in this hole, it gets snapped. Now, you don't have to set your mousetrap. If you want to wind your mousetrap up and let it go, you can, which means you can take this off, you can take this off, or you can set it. Some people like the abrupt pull of the string that you get when you set the trap. Some cars that's good for, and that's fine too. This one has a thing that goes over the bale and this thing down here. When you pull the bale back, again, you pull this thing up so that the bale is held in place. And then when a mouse comes up and eats the cheese or peanut butter you got smashed in these holes, he gets his neck broken. So the idea is the energy, which is mechanical, it's energy of movement, of the trap flipping gets transferred to the wheels turning the wheels. That is the idea. Again, you can take this off if you want. You really can't take the spring off or your mouse trap won't have any power, but you can take this off if you want. You don't have to, but you can for mousetrap cars. I got a couple mousetrap cars I'll show you here. This one is a student-made one, and their body is just a block of wood. You'll see that they've got their bale extended with, I don't know, is that a pencil? I'm not sure what that is, but they've got it longer. And the reason they do that is because if your mousetrap looks like this, you're only going to get pull from here to here. But when you extend your bale like this, you get pull from here to way out to here. You increase your leverage, or the time and amount or distance that your car gets pulled. So you'll see that this person has their string attached to their axle. I don't recommend that. I recommend it be separate. And then when you turn this backwards, it's wrapping that string around the axle. And then when the mousetrap pulls, or when the mousetrap starts pulling this way, it should turn the wheels. There it goes. The wheels are turning. I'll show you this one. This one has some broken wheels on it, but you'll be able to see, and it's also, this is a rat trap car. You'll see how big the rat trap is compared to the mouse trap. A rat trap can be used in an extra credit car. For your actual car, you have to have a regular size mouse trap. This one was somebody's extra credit car, and the wheels have been broken off, but again, you should be able to see how it works. I'm going to take the string, and first of all, it needs cut off. I'm going to take the string. Your string really, when the car is at relaxed mode, it really shouldn't be much longer than your axle, because if you have too much string on it, you're just going to add friction. But anyway, I'm going to wrap the string around the axle, and I'm going to start winding this car. And you want to make sure that the string is super tight around the axle. Mine is not tight. But you want to make sure it's super tight around the axle. I'm kind of wrapping the string on top of the string. I'm not going to wind it all the way or this movie will be 20 minutes long. Winding can be a challenge, and you might want to think about that when you're designing your car. If you're making it so your car is hard to wind, this project is going to be frustrating. So consider that. Anyway, as I wind, you can see that I've got my string wrapped around the axle, and when the axle pulls this bail extender right here, you can see it turns the wheels. That's what your car is going to look like. There are no rules as far as this car, like how many wheels your car has. This car only has 2 wheels. It's got 2 record album wheels. The plans for this car are online. You could use a toy car. The only problem is you need to pick a toy car that has an exposed axle. If this axle goes inside the plastic and you can't see it anymore, I would not pick that one. You also need to know if you are going to be using a toy car and it's your little brother's car, that it will probably come back trash. So don't assume you're going to take all the stuff off of it and take it back and your sibling's not going to notice. They'll notice. So if you're going to borrow one, ask and let them know that they're not going to get it back in the same way they thought they were. This particular car has kind of burly wheels. Those can add friction and it can be a problem. You don't want very much friction. We are going to be running these cars on a wood floor, so you're really not going to need a whole lot of traction. But anyway, that is what your mousetrap car is. The next one is going to be about your collecting of things to make your car.